Less than 1 minute. Now we're going to go on right now. Josh, am I looking all right? Okay, good. Well, welcome everybody, and Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Cradle of Hope, the House of Ephraim. We're going to have our Seder meal here, and I'm so glad that you're able to join us online, and also everybody here at the house. So glad to have you here. Hang on a second. Somebody is not muted out. Okay. There you go. I'm the only one on. Okay. So again, once again, welcome. My name is Prophet Mark Reinbold, and this is the House of Ephraim, Cradle of Hope Ministry. So glad that you're here with us during our Seder meal here on March the 28th. Today is actually the first day of Pesach, March 28th, and we're celebrating that. And as we get down to sundown, it will become the second day of Pesach as we celebrate this. And so I'm so glad, again, everybody that's here from in the house here and also online and around the world, watching even by recording, as we're going to have this recorded not only on YouTube, but also some of our other recording sites like Ustream and Vimeo. So again, welcome, and so glad that you're here with us. And if you want to follow along, we are using the Haggadah that is produced by Cradle of Hope Ministries. And this is the one that the late Prophet Deckard put together. And I highly recommend it. I've done a lot of Haggadahs in my time, and this is the one that I most enjoy. It's not really that long, and it has all the elements, and it's absolutely a joy to go through. I highly recommend the Haggadah that we produce here. And this is the one we'll be doing today. So if you already have one, you can use the one that you have and follow along with this as we go through the Haggadah. So that's what I'm going to do here today. I'm going to actually start here with the Haggadah, and we're going to celebrate the Seder meal. This is Pesach, or Passover. And, preparing for the Seder meal. In traditional Jewish homes, an elaborate spring cleaning begins weeks before Passover. I don't know about you, but we've been doing a lot of spring cleaning. This is because we are not permitted to eat or even possess food that is categorized as Hemets, that is containing a leavening agent. And so during the holiday, this commemorates the fact that the Jews leaving Egypt were in a hurry and did not have time to let their bread rise. It is also a symbolic way of removing the puffiness, the arrogance, the pride from our souls. Hemets includes anything made from the 5 major grains: wheat, rye, barley, oats, and spelt, and that have not been completely cooked within 18 minutes after coming into contact with water. Orthodox Jews of the Ashkenazi backgrounds also avoid rice, corn, peanuts, and legumes, that is beans, as if they were Hemets. And that's what we do. We follow more of the Ashkenazi style. All of these items are commonly used to make bread. Thus, the use of them was prohibited to avoid any confusion. Such additional items are referred to as knityat. So to make this holiday important to children, involve them in the preparations, in which we absolutely have to do that. This includes cleaning their own rooms, helping to prepare the kitchen, shopping, opportunity to learn what is kosher for Passover and what is not. Junior cooks may be called on to make caroset, matzah balls, and Passover desserts. Children will be honored if you use their handmade Seder plates or matzah covers. It is customary to invite guests to the Seder, and in the spirit of the holiday, you may wish to include a newcomer to the community, a college student far from home, or a guest from a nursing home. Family and friends make the experience more joyful and add wisdom and often new traditions to the telling of the Passover story. Passover is a time to remember those who do not share our freedom and our bounty. Many families donate their Hemets to organizations that distribute food to the needy. The day before Pesach is the fast of the firstborn, a minor fast for all firstborn males, commemorating the fact that the firstborn Jewish males in Egypt were not killed during the final plague. There's no work on the first and last day of Pesach. Again, Pesach is a 7-day festival. The first and the last day, of course, our Shabbat. So like this week, we had a Shabbat on Saturday, but the first day of Pesach is today, Sunday. So that means we had like a double Shabbat. We had a Shabbat on Saturday, and now for the first day of Pesach is also a Shabbat. Pesach lasts for 7 days. A tradition is that 8 days outside of Israel, there's an extra 8th day that is traditionally held by some people. The first and last days of the holidays are days on which no work is permitted. Work is permitted on the intermediate days. These intermediate days on which work is permitted are referred to Hamal and are intermediate days of Sukkot. The search for Hemets on the evening before Pesach, upon nightfall of the 14th day of Nisan, a thorough search of the house is made to ensure that no Hemets remains. Before the search, called Bedekat Hemets, you may wish to have a popcorn party, followed by a thorough sweep up. It is a fun way to dramatize the last farewell to Hemets. There is a tradition of distributing 10 pieces of bread throughout the house so that the searchers will have something to look for. The family gathers together with a candle for lighting the way, a feather for brushing up the Hemets, and a wooden spoon onto which the Hemets is brushed. The head of the household makes the bruka. And so we will read the bruka here. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has sanctified us by his commandments and commanded us concerning the removal of Hemets. The head of the household then collects the bread he finds into a special small bag and sweeps up the crumbs using a feather. A word of caution, make sure someone remembers where they put each piece. The search for Hemets is made by candlelight, paying special attention to crevices and places where Hemets can usually be found. No talking is permitted after the recitation of the bruka, that is the blessing, until the search is complete, except for questions or instructions related to the search, of course. After the search, the Hemets found is put away to be burnt the next morning. The head of the household recites the following declaration. Any Hemets, leavened bread, that is, or leaven, which is in my possession, which I have not seen, nor disposed of, nor did I know of, may it be considered as null and ownerless, like the dust of the earth. The following morning, Erev Pesach, the 14th day of Nisan, the Hemets that was found is burned together with the bag and the feather. Don't forget to include leftovers from breakfast. The head of the household again recites the following declaration after the Hemets is burnt. Any Hemets, leavened bread or leaven, which is in my possession, whether I have seen it or not, whether I have disposed it or not, may it be considered as null and ownerless, like the dust of the earth. So now we're going to take a look at the Seder plate. Can you help me with the camera there, young man? So we have the Seder plate here, and of course we have the boiled egg, right? We have the parsley or celery. We have the shank bone. We have this caroset. Yeah, this is the caroset, which is apple and nuts here. And we have also the bitter herb and also the second bitter herb here, which this is just horseradish sauce right here. Okay. So now, and also we also have a dish of salt water, which we'll be using. Okay, now at this time, we're going to go ahead and light the candles for the Seder meal.
Praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who makes us holy by your mitzvah and commands us to light the festival lights. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech Elohim shekinu v'shemenu v'shenekon lazma hazetz. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who has kept us alive, and so that we can celebrate this special time.
Okay, well, the Seder has a special order, and Seder means order. Here is the Seder of the Seder, the order of the Seder, that is, right? The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do Kaddish, then we're going to do the yirkats, then we're going to do the dipping of the vegetable in salt water, the karpaz, and we're gonna get the afakimen, the yatis, and we're going to do the Megid. That's we're going to tell the story of Passover. Then we're going to do the Raktasa, and that's the washing of the hands. And again, the Mozi Matzah, which is saying the blessing for the matzah, the Marar, then the Korek, then the Betzah, and then the Shulchan, Oret, Zafin, Barak, Halil, and Nurtza. That will be the order of the Seder. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to say Kaddish after the first cup is poured. So we're going to go ahead, and if you're online, you can, and you're prepared, you can follow along with us here. We're going to pour the first cup of wine. Okay, there's going to be 4 cups total. This will be the first cup of wine that we're going to pour. Okay, so here we go. Okay, once you get your wines filled, I'm going to wait here as everybody gets their wine glass filled. Okay, ready? We lift our cups. On the 6th day, the heavens and the earth were completed. On the 7th day, God finished the work of creation and rested. God blessed the 7th day and called it holy, because on that day, God rested from the work of creation. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech Elohim bara para hagafen. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. Okay, go ahead and raise your cups again. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who has made us holy through your mitzvah and lovingly giving us Shabbat for rest and festivals for gladness. You have given us Shabbat and this festival of Matzah, celebrations of our freedom, a holy time to recall our going out of Egypt. We praise you, Adonai, who makes holy Shabbat, the people Israel, and the festivals. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who has kept us alive and well so that we can celebrate this special time. Go ahead and drink your first cup of wine. Okay, at this time, we're going to do a washing of the hands just for me, not for everybody, but just for the head here. Just 3 times. One more time. Okay, that's good. Put that down, give me a towel. Okay, that's good. Okay, now what we're going to do is I need everybody to grab like a piece of your parsley and maybe a single leaf. There you go. And what we're going to do is we're going to dip our parsley in the salt water. Go ahead and dip your parsley in the salt water. And just wait a second with that. We're going to say a blessing. The salt water reminds us of the tears of our ancestors shed in Egypt. Baruch Ada Adonai Eloheinu Melecham Halom Barai Prai Ha-Adamai. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who creates the fruit of the earth. Now go ahead and eat your parsley. Okay, very good. And at this time, we're going to break the middle matzah. So we have this specially made thing with 3 pockets, and in the middle pocket, we have a middle matzah, and we're going to break it into 2. And of course, this represents Christ. And break it into 2. And then we're going to set aside the larger piece for later. Can you go ahead and take care of that? And this will be for something for later. Can you go ahead and move that to the other area? Thank you. And then we're going to replace that other half back into the middle section for later. So now we're going to read this next part. It says, "This is the bread of poverty which our ancestors ate in the land of Egypt." And it's talking about the middle matzah here that we just broke. Right here it is, the middle matzah. "This is the bread of poverty which our ancestors ate in the land of Egypt. All who are hungry, come and eat. All who are needy, come and celebrate Passover with us. Now we celebrate here. Next year, may we be in the land of Israel. Now we are slaves. Next year, may we be truly free." I'm going to go ahead and put this back into the middle section. And we're going to go ahead and fill our cups with the second cup of wine or grape juice. So the kids are using grape juice. This is actually real wine. And so we have the next section is going to be read by one of the children. We're going to get that set up here just 1 second.
How different this night is from all other nights. On all other nights, we eat bread or matzah. On this night, why do we only eat matzah? On all other nights, we eat all kinds of vegetables. On this night, why do we only eat marar? On all other nights, we do not have to dip vegetables even once. On this night, why do we dip them twice? On all other nights, we eat our meals sitting any way we like. On this night, why do we lean on pillows?
Yes, and so the pillow remark there is referring to a lot of the Seders, there would be pillows and everybody would lean to the left, and that would simplify royalty. We're not going to do that within this Seder, but that's what that's referring to. And so now we're going to begin to answer all the questions from the children. This night is different from all other nights because Once we were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt, but Adonai, our God, took us out with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. If Adonai had not brought our ancestors out of Egypt, then we and our children and our children's children would still be slaves in the land of Egypt. Even if we know the story well and have told it many times, the more we tell it in great detail, the more we are to be praised. This night is also different because once we worshiped idols, but now we worship only Adonai, the one who is everywhere. Praise be to God who is everywhere. Praise be God. Praise be God who gave the Torah to the people of Israel. Praise be God. The Torah commands us to teach our children about Passover. The Talmud suggests 4 different ways children might react. The wise child might ask, what is the meaning of the laws and the rules which Adonai, our God, has commanded us? We should explain to this child in great detail all the laws and customs of Passover. The wicked child might ask, what does this service mean to you? Since this child does not want to be included in the celebration, we must answer harshly. We celebrate Passover because of what Adonai did for us. If you had been in Egypt, you would not have been included when Adonai freed us from slavery. The simple child might ask, what is this all about? We answer simply that with a mighty hand, Adonai took us out of Egypt. What about the child who doesn't know enough to ask a question? We must explain to this child that we observe Passover to remember what God did for us when we were freed from slavery in Egypt. So now we're going to go over the Passover story. And this is what was happened as time went down from generation to generation. God promised Abraham and Sarah that their children would become a great people. God made this promise again to each new generation, to Isaac and Rebekah, and to Jacob, Rachel, and Leah. One of Jacob's sons, Joseph, came to live in the land of Egypt and was an advisor to the Pharaoh. He told Pharaoh to build storehouses and fill them with grain. When years of famine struck, there was food to eat in Egypt. The Pharaoh was so grateful that when Joseph's brothers came in search of food, he invited them to settle. They lived there in peace for many years and became known as Israelites. Years later, a new Pharaoh came to rule who did not remember Joseph and all he had done for the Egyptian people. He only feared that the Israelites would become too numerous and too powerful. This Pharaoh made the Israelites slaves. He forced them to do hard labor, building cities with bricks made from clay and straw. The people knew neither peace nor rest, only misery and pain. The cruelest decree of all was the Pharaoh's order that every boy born to an Israelite woman be drowned in the river Nile. One couple, Amram and Jochebed, would not kill their newborn son. Instead, they hid him in their hut for 3 months. When his cries became too loud, Jochebed placed him in a basket on the river. Their daughter Miriam watched to see what would happen. As Pharaoh's daughters came to bathe in the river, she discovered the basket. She felt pity for the helpless child and decided to keep him as her own. She named him Moshe, or Moses, which means drawn from the water. Bravely, Miriam asked the princess if she needed a nurse to help her with the baby. The princess said yes, and so it happened that Jochebed was able to care for her own son and teach him about his heritage. Moses would have lived at the Pharaoh's palace forever, but he could not ignore the suffering of his people. Once he saw an Egyptian beating an Israelite slave, he could not control his anger and killed the Egyptian. Knowing his life would be in danger once the news of this deed spread, Moses fled to the land of Midian, where he became a shepherd. One day, while tending sheep on Mount Horeb, Moses saw a bush that seemed to be on fire, but was not burning up. From the bush, he heard God's voice calling him. God said, I am the God of your ancestors. I have seen the suffering of the Israelites and have heard their cries. I am ready to take them out of Egypt and bring them to a new land, a land flowing with milk and honey. God told Moses to return to Egypt to bring the message of freedom to the Israelites and to warn Pharaoh that God would bring plagues on the Egyptians if he did not let the slaves go free. Moses was such a humble man that he could not imagine being God's messenger. I will be with you, God promised Moses. With this assurance and challenge, Moses set out for Egypt. When Moses asked Pharaoh to free the Israelites, he refused. So God brought 10 plagues on the Egyptians. Each one frightened Pharaoh, and each time he promised to free the slaves. But when each plague ended, Pharaoh did not keep his word. It was only after the last plague, that the death of the firstborn of Egyptians, that Pharaoh agreed to let Israelites go. We fill our cups, our wine cups, to remember our joy in being able to leave Egypt, yet our happiness is not complete because the Egyptians, who are also God's children, suffered from Pharaoh's evil ways. Therefore, we spill a drop of wine from our cups with a small pinky finger as we say each place. So what we're going to do is we're going to read through all the plagues, and you're going to take your pinky finger and you're going to dip it into your cup of wine or grape juice, and then you're going to just put that on that piece of drop right onto your napkin. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and begin. Ready? Blood, frogs, lice, beasts, cattle disease, boils, hail, locusts, darkness, plague of the firstborn. Soon after Pharaoh let the Israelites leave Egypt, he regretted his decision and ordered his army to bring them back. His soldiers caught up with the Israelites by the banks of the Sea of Reeds. When they saw the Egyptians, they were afraid and cried out. Adonai told Moses to lift his rod. And when he did, a strong east wind drove back the sea, leaving space for the Israelites to go across on dry land. The Egyptians came after them into the sea. Moses again lifted his rod, and the waters rushed back, covering the Egyptians and their horses and chariots. Then Moses' sisters Miriam led the women in joyous dance and song, thanking Adonai for saving their lives. Long ago, Adonai promised Abraham and Sarah that their children would be a great people. It is this promise that has given our ancestors courage and hope. We're going to take your cup of wine. You're going to lift it up. More than once in our history, enemies have tried to destroy our people, but the Jewish people live. Okay, you can put your cups down. Adonai has shown our people so many acts of kindness. For each one we say Dayenu, meaning that alone would have been enough. For that alone we are grateful. So I'm going to say a sentence, and after each sentence that I say, everybody together is going to say Dayenu, okay? We're going to start this. Adonai took us out of Egypt day anew, punished the Egyptians and destroyed their idols day anew, divided the sea and led us across on dry land day anew, took care of us in the desert for 40 years and fed us manna day anew, gave us Shabbat day anew, brought us to the Mount Sinai and gave us Torah day anew, brought us to the land of Israel and built the holy temple day anew. For all these alone and together we say day anew. In telling the story of the Exodus, we must explain the meaning of these three most important symbols. Without this explanation, our celebration is incomplete. So here's the lamb bone or the Pesach. The roasted bone is called the Pesach. That's the Passover. It recalls the lamb our ancestors sacrificed and ate in the days of the temple. As a symbol on our Seder plate, it reminds us that during the 10th plague, Adonai passed over the homes of the Israelites and spared their firstborn. Matzah. We eat matzah to remind us how our ancestors had to live, had to leave Egypt in such a haste that the dough for their bread did not have time to rise. And marar. We eat this marar to remind us how bitter the Egyptians made the lives of our ancestors by forcing them to be slaves. In each generation, everyone must think of himself or herself as personally left Egypt. Okay, everybody raise your cups again. It is our duty to give thanks, sing praises, and offer blessings to the Holy One who did these miracles for our ancestors and for us, for bringing us from slavery to freedom, from sadness to joy, from darkness to light. Therefore, let us sing a new song, Hallelujah. Okay, go ahead and put them down. When the people of Israel left Egypt, they became God's people. The sea fled at the sight, and the river Jordan turned backwards. Mountains skipped like rams, and all of nature trembled at the presence of the Holy One. Go ahead and raise your cup a third time. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who has freed us and our ancestors from Egypt and brought us here this night to eat matzah and marar. Adonai, our God and God of our ancestors, help us celebrate future holidays and festivals in peace and in joy. Then we will thank you with a new song. We praise you, Adonai, our God, who has freed the people of Israel. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. Go ahead and drink. Okay, at this time, we're going to kind of do like a Kaddish. And we're going to go ahead and wash our hands for the meal, saying the blessing. Baruch Ada Adonai Alehu Melekam Halo Asher Kaddish Benips Minu Venitsina El Nataliat Yadadim. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who has made us holy by your mitzvah and commands us to wash our hands. And so we're going to go ahead and wash everybody's hands. Hang on. Kids, go ahead and get up. You guys, come on. One at a time. I want to hear the flyers. Okay, here we are. We're going to say blessing for the upper and middle matzah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hemets likam mi haratz. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kaddish b'nitzminu b'nitna el hakalak matzah. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who makes us holy by your mitzvah and commands us to eat matzah. So go ahead and everybody take a piece of that middle or upper pieces of matzah. And then this will be that. Yeah, that's fine. You just keep them there. Here, we'll just put them here. And so now the next thing we're going to want to do is take some marar, put it in your plate, and take some caroset, which is the apple and nuts, and put them together like that. A little bit of marar and a little bit of caroset. Yeah. Go ahead and get some of that together. We're going to eat them together here in just a minute. Okay, we about ready? Okay. We dipped the marar into the caroset to recall our ancestors were able to withstand the bitterness of slavery because it was sweetened by the hope of freedom. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kaddish b'nitzminu b'nitzna el halakah marar. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who makes us holy by your mitzvah and commands us to eat marar. So go ahead and take both the marar and caroset, eat them together. Okay, now, so next thing we're going to do is you're going to take a piece of matzah, right? Piece of matzah. And we're going to take a piece of marar, put the marar on the matzah, okay? And traditionally, we would take the bottom piece of the matzah from your three-piece section. So we take some marar and some matzah, and we're going to go ahead and say this. On Passover, in the days of the temple in Jerusalem, Rabbi Hillel would eat a sandwich made of the Pesach, that's the lamb offering, matzah and marar. Now, we do not bring sacrifices to the temple, so our sandwich is made only with matzah and marar. Go ahead and go eat that. I'm seeing some reactions out there from the marar. That's good. So hard-boiled egg is used to symbolize life and rebirth, as well as the fact that they are boiled but not destroyed, has overtones of Jewish survival. A roasted hard-boiled egg is primarily used to symbolize the first Passover sacrifice of the lamb. This sacrifice was eventually performed in the first and second temples in Jerusalem, But since the destruction of the Second Temple in Jerusalem in 70 AD by the Romans, the roasted hard-boiled egg was decreed by rabbinical authorities to replace the Passover sacrifice of the lamb. The egg also symbolizes mourning for the destruction of the Second Temple by the Romans in 70 AD. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this hard-boiled egg, and you're just going to put some of that into the water, into your salt water that you have here, right? And then we're going to take a fork. So if you're following along at home or everybody here, take those eggs and just mash them up in there, that salt water. Yeah, mash them up there. It's going to like egg soup, right? Saltwater egg soup. That's what we got. Right? And then take your spoon and get yourself a little bit of that. And go ahead and have. I'm going to have some. Yep. There you go. Have some egg soup. There you go. And thus our meal will begin. Now, at this point, we're going to have everybody get up and we're going to all go and get some food. And we're going to start eating the Seder meal. So if you're at home, this is a time where if you got your meal prepared, you go get yourself a plate. I'm going to say about 15 or 20 minutes. We're going to eat about 15 or 20 minutes, take time to get something to eat. And then I'm going to restart with the ending part of the Seder meal after everybody gets done eating, okay? So I'll keep the cameras rolling. And in the meantime, go ahead and get yourself something to eat. We'll be back in about 15 or 20 minutes to finish up the rest of the Seder meal, okay? So. I got water. Thank you. Yeah. Yep. Go ahead. Would you like some wine? You guys want a little grape? You just go ahead and have some.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll sit there. We always have to put it in the basement. What were you gonna say?
No, she's good. And it helps her out. Oh, yes, it's really good.
No, you're saying something about mountains. You got yourself a plant.
pretty raw. I think that's the raw on the pure stuff. It's not too bad. Oh, God, please, yeah.
But you know what? In the 2 years, Jake says you don't know to it's just, you might change your mind. It's a long time. I might.
Keep me away from it.
I guess more for me.
Right.
I think you're a lot braver than you think.
Do you remember that game? Oh my God.
Yeah, the dinosaur game where you find the legs.
We were playing on the.
That was ridiculous. Yeah. So
There's this,
you know what I'm that's the worst thing that I've had for me. Being like super deep in the ocean. You're sharks. Yeah, I do. That just starts like very well. Okay, when you can't do this thing, every time I have a birthday, the shark movie would see it. It's the last shark movie that came out. That was the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. No, it was 47 meters down. Number 2. Yeah, but like, I don't know. That was the same position. No, that's not it.
So they're just pushed back and forth.
It's just painful, because you have to like mess with it just to get it back to its original spot. Like, damn it, man.
Yeah, sharks are pretty chill dudes, actually.
Because me trying to fix it.
They said it's
Shake it up.
A very small percentage of sharks even hurt anyone, and that percentage of sharks barely hurt anyone. Like, yeah, it's like 3% of all sharks. And those sharks are usually nowhere near the shore. We're all like really scared. That's so honestly, because Jaws, there's a huge spike in the hunting sharks after Jaws came out. You came to the point where there were some shark species on it.
People are very, very quiet. People are like,
I'm just shooting my dude that I was just in the shark attacks happening on the shore. So.
That's not true.
Sharks live directly off the shore, all of us.
That's not true.
Yeah, I'm sure about that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Oh my gosh. What? Every 10 years, did the water seas fast enough for us to go? That's a really interesting.
I know, like literally.
Did
Did you ever go up there?
Yeah,
It's really
It is, it's no room at all. Like, what the fuck are you doing? But I saw the people.
Yeah, I had a break.
That's.
Was it weird? Some people are getting bored. It takes up space with the ring, and that's why they took like. Yeah. Yeah, it has chocolate. Chocolate is very.
Yeah, chocolate and
It's
beer.
because it has butter in it.
Right now, we're still having a big ass.
Jerusalem's about
Yeah.
I'll play whatever you guys want me to play. I just don't.
Jerusalem's about 8 hours ahead of us. So
They're still calling out the party at like.
it's like the middle of the night in
4 o'clock.
Israel.
I'll say, oh yeah, you don't always.
Yeah, my bad.
So, and it's the same recipe that mom always used. Yeah, it's just butter. Most bread is buttery too, so you should be fine.
It's like, five miles, except you have mobility and mobility ability. So honestly, it's the better version. of Cogma. Except for Cogma's,
Sorry, no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just the exact same. It is the most biggest difference I have ever seen.
What's up?
No, she has about the same amount as Cogma in the beginning, but.
It's just
Cogma
box
is more
recipe, so it should be pretty much the same.
Kaiser's built also around chicken sizes, so she doesn't do as much, she does more burst. So basically what happens is she does, Cogma places it actually. And, Cogma does what we're doing, but Kaiser can get a lot more.
Okay, guys, we're going to restart in 5 minutes. Okay. So finish up what you're doing within 5 minutes and we're going to restart. Thank you.
Matzah, Amanda brought his matzah on it. No, it was late. Run away and fire them. Or stand still and fire them.
No, you do pretty good running away.
Like.
Yeah, no, you do pretty good at running after that target. But this one after that's not pretty well. But running away and firing at them.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I think you need to put your hands there. It's good to stand where it's fire.
If we need something that's easier napkin.
The closest thing to your front page is supposed to.
Just take a picture of the camera.
Oh, you can probably use your napkin after this. You should be fine.
Remember, also take your eggs, you attack. So basically, you can get two buttons, like new here and APAC. So you just go and put how your foot just move along and your picture will go.
Okay, guys. I need you back on the table and quiet.
Yeah, that's it.
We need you guys back and quiet.
No, I was sending. In combination with you, if you guys joke around like I was sending, I was like fine. I actually was. I really can't. I would.
Yeah, I was watching that tonight.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and restart. And so now we're going to get a little bit serious here. We're going to actually have Holy Communion, which is done at the third cup of this ceremony. And since we haven't really poured the third cup yet, we're going to go ahead and pre-pour the third cup. If you're going to have communion with us today, go ahead and pre-pour your third cup of wine with us here. You can just, you don't have to drink it all. You're gonna, yeah, okay. And we can use this as the wine that we will drink during we're gonna have communion. So if you're gonna have communion with us, go ahead and pre-pour your third cup now, okay? Also take from the akafemin, which would have been the middle matzah piece. Get yourself a piece of that middle matzah piece as part of the matzah that you will use for the communion bread, and put that on your plate. There you go. And so now we are going to go through the communion section here. So if you're prepared with the pre-poured third cup and the piece of akafemin that you have, we're going to go ahead and read the communion section. It says, now the feast of unleavened bread drew nigh, which is called the Passover, and the chief priests and scribes sought how they might kill him, for they feared the people. Then entered Satan into Judas, surnamed Iscariot, being of the number of 12. And he went his way and communed with the chief priests and captains how he might betray him unto them. And they were glad and covenanted to give him money. And he promised and sought opportunity to betray him unto them in the absence of the multitude. Then came the day of unleavened bread, when the Passover must be killed. And he sent Peter and John, saying, Go and prepare us the Passover that we may eat. And they said unto him, Where wilt thou that we prepare? And he said unto them, Behold, when ye are entered into the city, there shall be a man meet you, bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house where he entereth in, and ye shall say unto the good man of the house, The master saith unto thee, Where is the guest chamber where I shall eat the Passover with my disciples? And he shall show you a large upper room furnished there. Make ready. And they went, and they found as he had said unto them, and they made ready the Passover. And when the hour was come, he sat down, and the 12 apostles with him, and said unto them, With desire I have desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I say unto you, I will not any more eat thereof until it be fulfilled in the kingdom of God. And he took the cup, and he gave thanks, and said, Take this and divide it among yourselves. For I say unto you, I will not drink of the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of God shall come. And he took bread and gave thanks and brake it and gave it unto them, saying, This is the body for which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me. Go ahead and eat your piece of matzah. Likewise, also the cup after supper, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood, which is shed for you. Go ahead and drink. And that is communion, folks. Now, we're going to deal with this matter of the hidden piece of the akafemin. So, what we're going to do is we're going to have someone here hide the piece of akafemin somewhere in my kitchen. We're going to have 3 of the kids go try to find it. So the 3 kids that are watching, that'd be Zeph, Alia, and Chloe. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. We're going to wait just a minute here while we hide the piece of akafemin. And the kids are going to go try to find it. It's being hidden right now in the kitchen. We don't know where it's going to be. Hopefully it's not hidden too hard. And we are hidden. All right. Now, whoa. Now get over here, all 3 of you guys. Right before, all 3 of you guys. Right over here. Yes. Okay, go get a little closer. Yep. A little closer. Okay, all 3 of you guys, go try to find it. Go. Turn it on them. And so the scramble is going on. Don't break anything. Hopefully they didn't make it too hard. The piece of akafemin. Somebody's going to find it. Last year it was Zephy. Will Alia redeem herself? Or maybe Chloe will become the new one here. We find it? Not yet. Hopefully it didn't make it too hard. Give them a hint. Okay, she gave you a hint. All right, who found it? And Chloe. Unbelievable. Good job, Chloe. Chloe is now for a whole year. We'll be talking about that. Thank you, Chloe. Found the piece of akafemin, which we will use as dessert. Now, it says, after the akafemin has been found or ransomed, everyone gets a piece to eat. The akafemin is shared just as the Pesach offering was shared in the days of the temple to show that we are all responsible for one another. No special blessing is said because the dessert is part of the meal. We're not permitted to eat anything after the akafemin. Its taste should linger in our mouths. I'm going to go ahead and take a piece. Go ahead and take a piece and have them take a piece. Okay, pass that around. So I'm going to go ahead and eat my piece of akafemin. If there's any left, just bring it back up here. Okay. Somebody got their microphone on. Okay. So we're done with the akafemin. So now, if you haven't already, you need to pour your third cup of wine. Go ahead and pour your third cup of wine. And we say, we praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who in goodness, mercy, and kindness gives food to the world. Your love for us endures forever. We praise you, Adonai, who provides food for all life. May the Holy One who makes peace in the heavens make peace for us, for Israel, and for all the world. Go ahead and lift your third cup. Somehow somebody is getting on here. Somebody needs to be muted. Okay. Try to keep from getting yourself unmuted, people out there. So here we are. Third cup. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melekam halo broi pri hagafen. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. Go ahead and drink your third cup. Okay, now, because Elijah has already come, we no longer keep the section concerning Elijah. So go ahead, and we're going to pour a fourth cup of wine. One more cup of wine. Okay. There you go. Go ahead and lift your cups of wine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melekam halom broi pri hagafen. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. Go ahead and drink your fourth cup. Our Seder is now complete. May our service be accepted to you, O Adonai, our God, and may we be granted the blessing of celebrating Pesach for many years to come. Pure and Holy One, dwelling on high, raise up your people with love and lead us to Zion in joyful song. So everybody together will say next year in Jerusalem. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Next year in Jerusalem. Okay, now I'm going to explain. We begin actually tonight. And tomorrow we begin the counting of the Omer, right? Jewish holidays celebrate important historical moments and many are also linked to the seasons of nature. In addition to celebrate our going out of Egypt, Passover marks the beginning of the barley harvest. On the second day of Passover, that would be tomorrow, or it starts tonight right now, An omer, a sheaf of barley, was brought to the temple as an offering. Shavuot, which comes 49 days later, commemorates the giving of the Torah and also marks the beginning of the wheat harvest. At the second Seder, it is traditional to begin counting off these 49 days, referred to as the Day of Omer. This symbolic countdown from Pesach to Shavuot shows the connection between the two holidays. Our freedom from slavery was not complete until we received the Torah, which gives our lives purpose and meaning. We count the Omer with a blessing. Baruch Atah Adonai Alehu Malekum Haral Harsher Kaddish Benipsamu Benitzmatah El Sharaf Hamora Harar Yorn Ikad Lamor. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who makes us holy by your mitzvah and commands us to count the Omer. Today is the first day of the Omer. And folks, I just want to encourage you all to keep the command and count every day of the Omer until we get to Shavuot, which is day number 50. And so this concludes our Passover Seder meal. Hopefully everybody enjoyed that, was able to participate, and feel free to email us in anything that that was exciting for you guys. Maybe you guys learned something. Maybe you had company and they were able to share some things with you. I just want to encourage you all, as of course going through COVID-19. I look forward to when we can get together and do this all together, especially the people that are around me here in this area. And we will here. Certainly, I would think we'll be able to do it next year. Hopefully, yes. And also, we'll see how this COVID-19 plays out. We'll be able to resume quarterlies whenever that happens. But until then, folks, until next week's when I preach on Shabbat, or when somebody's going to preach on Shabbat Friday, Shabbat Shalom.